We welcome you live to Waverly, Iowa on the Wartburg campus as it's time for NCAA Division III second round playoff football as the Wartburg Knights, perfect on the year, 10-0, hosting the Wheaton Thunder, 9-2 in the overall, 8-1 in the conference, and they're riding a 7-game winning streak, including coming off a huge win in the opening round of the playoffs. You might notice from your TV screen, winter is here, and it might play an impact on this game. As we're about to kick off, Wartburg is back to receive. Wheaton puts the foot to it, and this game is officially underway. Looking to run it out, and immediately brought down at the 20, about the 12-yard line. As you know, what are your thoughts, Caleb, about what we are going to see here in this matchup? Two powerhouses that have earned a spot to play in this game.
We've seen two amazing defenses this season, both top 25 in the nation in points against. And Wheaton, again, a strong offense as well, but I'm expecting that defense to really shine today.
22-yard line is where Wartburg will set up shop. Leo Dodd, the senior quarterback, and he's a tremendous player for the Knights. Interesting to see if they'll go with that balanced attack of pass and run with snow falling through. And the first play from scrimmage looks to be a play-action pass. It's complete, but was he out of bounds? The official on the spot says no catch. Good job by Wheaton to force out of bounds, and that'll set up 2nd and 10 from the 22.
And running a play-action right out of the gate for the Knights, because obviously they have one of the best rush offenses in the nation. And so opening up with a play action to kind of get them off of the run in a game where the run will be so important with all of the snow on the ground.
Anderson and Rudd combined 1,394 yards, rushing yards, and here's one. Breaking it at midfield. A lot of green in front of him. Has one defender to beat. Wrestled down at the 22-yard line. And a huge play for the Knights, flipping the field, and that's a momentum boost for Wartburg on their home field here.
And honestly, a fantastic run by Rudd, but going to the other side, Colin Moore did a great job of stopping, a touchdown right there because he almost had a clear path.
Out to the air. Nothing doing on the outside there as that pass was caught by the slot receiver, Dylan Swanstrom, the junior, 5'11", 160-pounders. That's his 26th reception of the year, had 335 yards receiving and a couple of touchdowns as well. He rushed for 3 touchdowns this season for Wartburg. All right, Wheaton a little bit on their heels, but besides that one play, defense has been playing really good for Wheaton.
And the secondary has really been active, and they stopped a lot of plays early on. 2 of those 3 plays, short yardage because of stoppages.
Patiently waiting for the hole to open up, but nothing doing there. A good surge by Wheaton defensively, and that'll bring up 3rd down and 3. Not ideal kicking situations. Definitely in field goal range, though, are the Knights, wanting to get points out of this opening drive. 13:22 to go, time ticking away. Opening quarter. Big play here, Caleb.
And Leo Dodd possibly looking in the air. Rudd in the backfield as well. Rudd has played the receiving back role for the Knights when they've passed out of the backfield.
Dodd catches it, looks, and stays in bounds, reaches for the pylon, and it's going to be a 1st down as Wartburg on a 3rd and 3 picks up more than enough in the red zone and knocking on the door, keeping this drive alive. A good balance again, play calling of pass and run.
And Swanstrom had a great reaction. It's going to be hard to see that sideline. Wartburg sidelines are white, just like the snow here on the field. And Swanstrom did a great job of recognizing he wasn't out of bounds. And it seemed like Wheaton just kind of eased off thinking he was out of bounds, was able to get that extra yardage.
Ball spotted on the 8-yard line. Wartburg opening drive here. Catching, going through the air again, wide open, but overthrowing his receiver. Would love to have that one back. Wheaton had good surge as putting a pressure on Dodd, the quarterback, and that's one thing Wheaton defense, the Thunder, with their defensive tackles, their DNs, their linebacking crew, they have been strong all year long, one of the reasons for their 7-game win streak.
And on that defensive line, the star for this team, Peter Johanic.
Oh, he's a good one.
As he has had 20.5 tackles for loss and 11.5 sacks, a fantastic season as an All-American last year.
Right up the middle, and Wartburg has scored the first points of this game. A beautiful opening drive, and it finishes with a run right up the heart of the Wheaton defense. Power running and a touchdown for the Knights, and that's with 12:15 to play.
And that's exactly what Wartburg wants to see on the opening drive, that balanced attack of pass and rush, but the rush of Dawson Rudd, the big factor in this drive.
So here's Jackson Hoppus, the outstanding place kicker and punter for Wartburg, kicking to the south, into the wind a little bit. It is good, tacking on the extra point. And a near perfect drive. Had to get that big 3rd down and 3 conversion, but Wartburg able to get that, and that might have been the play of the drive. And 7-0 is our score, 12 minutes, 15 seconds to go, still in the opening quarter.
And Wartburg relying on their all-conference players so far. Dawson Rudd, a first-team all-conference. Leo Dodd, of course, second-team all-conference. Hoppus, first-team all-conference for the Knights as well.
Well, for Wheaton, their offense looked dangerous, Caleb, in round 1. Can they replicate that performance against a top-tier defense on the road in these conditions? Proving they belong, especially after that big first-round win. It's not going to be easy.
And I really do believe that Wheaton has the firepower to get past this stifling Knights defense.
You'll notice some extra activity on the field in between possessions. Appreciate the volunteers and staff that are bringing shovels to clear the field this morning. 7 or 8 inches of snow already dumped here in northeast Iowa and Waverly. More coming, expecting 13 or 14 inches potentially before it's all said and done. Walston Hoover Stadium looking pretty good on this new turf, as Wheaton again just tremendous in that opening round victory as they took care of Crown last week out of Minnesota, 76-14. Not sure if they're going to get 76 points today.
Again, Wartburg, the 5th best defense in the entire nation, 10 points a game. But Wheaton, of course, with a top 10 offense of their own.
Fighting, not wanting to go down, and then finally wrestled to the turf. A decent return as Wheaton will bring their offense out, and they have an outstanding quarterback, another senior. So we're seeing 2 great senior quarterbacks. The field generals leading this team. Mark Forcucci, the 6-foot, 189-pounder, had 248 yards per game throwing the football this season.
And Forcucci, an all-conference player in the CCIW in his own right with 31 passing touchdowns against just 4 interceptions.
Looking to run, maybe got a yard and a half. Will bring up 2nd and long as the running game has Matt Kreider, a sophomore who had 103 carries for 702 yards. Trent Gabriel, the senior, 51 attempts for 291 yards. Wheaton, the Thunder in the white uniforms. Wartburg Knights in the black uniforms with white numbers and lettering. Out of the shotgun, 2nd and long, through the air. Had a receiver open as he slides the pass behind him, and now it'll be 3rd and 8.
And really a wide open space in there. There were 3 players from the secondary kind of around that receiver, but great spotting, just throwing it behind, and looked like maybe lost his footing, was unable to turn around in time.
Officials calling for a stoppage of play, and a timeout is called. 11:32 to play. We're just getting started here in the opening quarter. 3rd and 8. And again, just so important as you're reading the body language of these two teams, trying to set the tone in this first quarter. Huge play for both teams. For Cucci. One back. It's going to be a pass play, complete, and that's enough for a first down. Throws a dart, and it's hauled in for the catch. An easy pickup by the wide receiver, Whit Jewett, the senior, his 21st reception of the year. Nice play call.
A great play call, and this is exactly what Wheaton has excelled in. They have the 6th best 3rd down conversion rate on offense.
Incredible.
And so being able to stop the 3rd down is exactly what Wartburg will need to start doing against Forcucci in this offense.
We haven't seen a punt yet in this young game. Short passes, still creative play calling as positive yardage, gain of about 3.5 or 4, moves it to the 43. We'll call it 2nd and 6 at 10:40 to go first quarter.
And those short passes and the runs are going to be so crucial in this game where footing is going to be hard to come by with the snow coming down.
Not ideal playing conditions, but some might say this is the way football is meant to be played. Strong downhill running, again refusing to go down. That's Matt Kreider, the sophomore, as he isn't known for scoring a lot of touchdowns, but he can pick up those tough yards. And here's a 3rd and short. Let's see if the Thunder keep it on the ground here. The handoff. And leaning forward from my vantage point, we're right on the 50-yard line. They're going to say move those chains. And in 3rd and short yard, a big pickup.
And really great work by Kreider because the Knights got through. I believe it was Jack Drehos got to Kreider right away, but Kreider just able to keep churning those legs and pick up that first down.
Yeah, the hit was definitely short of the chains, but like all running backs are taught to do, keep moving those legs. Fresh set of downs for Wheaton, trying to get points on their opening drive. Going to the outside, gain of 6. As this first quarter just flying by there.
And very creative play calling from Wheaton. From the beginning, we've seen some jet sweeps, those short passes, and of course, those runs up the middle. But all of this to free up the passing game later on.
Now, Wheaton, statistically, on paper, the underdog in this game, might have to pull off some trickery to get the upset. Somehow, someway, stays on his feet, bounces to the outside, and a first down as number 19, Malachi Jones, the sophomore, 52 runs, 277 yards on the year. And Caleb, he averages 5.5 yards per carry. It looked like he was on ice skates there, about to tumble over. Somehow kept his balance.
Wartburg, again, keeps getting into the backfield of the Wheaton offense, but the running backs, the wide receivers, they're able to shake them off, get to the outside, and pick up that yardage.
Pass play for Wheaton. Plenty of time. Out of the pocket. Might tuck and run. He does. And a smart play by the senior for Cucci. Now, he has shown his ability to run the football this year. His quarterback rating is 206.4 cumulative on the season, and that's a good rating for your senior out of Wheaton.
A strong 8-yard pickup, but a great job by Keenan Tyler for the Knights, number 33, just able to get there and didn't make any contact, was able to force Forcucci out of bounds and force the larger gain.
The Knights secondary has forced 14 interceptions this year, ranks 23rd nationally, number 2 in the ARC Conference. Not an opportunity for a pick there, but another first down. Big physical running as Wartburg, if you're just joining us, scores on their opening drive, and now Wheaton marching methodically down the field with a nice balance of pass and running of the football. 1st and 10, ball on the 28-yard line, knocking on the door of the red zone. Caleb Kammerer and Eric Braley on the call here for this ESPN broadcast. Hope you're enjoying this one as we're in the NCAA Division II, Division III playoffs, round 2. Caught and pulled down as Riley Howard, the senior, 5'10", 226-pounders. That's just his 11th catch of the year. But a good job by the Wartburg defense to make sure once the ball was caught, there's no yards after the catch.
And great defense on Wartburg's side, but I just want to commend Forcucci right there. He was standing in the pocket. He saw Jake Walker, an all-conference player for the Knights, coming right at him, and he just stood in the pocket and delivered a dart.
Outstanding poise out of Forcucci. A missed sack opportunity, missed tackle opportunity, and now just shy of the first down, about a half a yard short, a gain of 9.5 yards on 2nd and 10. It'll bring up 3rd and 1 with about 6 minutes to go here in the opening quarter.
And you have to believe that the yards after contact for Wheaton are just through the roof right now. It seems like the Knights are getting to them right away, but they make contact, just can't finish off those tackles, and Wheaton keeps picking up those large gains and first downs.
Whit Jewett having a good first quarter receiving for the Thunder. 3rd and short. Needing to turn the corner. A flag is thrown. That's our first penalty flag we've seen in this game. We'll stop the clock at 5:40, and let's see which way this one's going as the officials talk.
And Tyler Geyer hit the turf there, and that's exactly when the fans here in Walson Hoover called out for that flag. It was thrown from the secondary, so we'll see what that call is.
Had enough for the first down, but the penalty appears like it will go against Wheaton. 2 fouls. Both fouls on the offense. The holding penalty on the Wheaton offense. There's never a good time, Caleb, to have a penalty, but on 3rd and short, as you're right at the red zone, this is going to make it a more challenging conversion opportunity. Now 3rd and 11.
But again, this is one of the best teams when it comes to 3rd down conversion rate. This is one of the best offenses in all of Division III. And so if anyone can convert on this play, it's Wheaton.
Wheaton put up 76 points last week, 52 the week before, 61 and 65 the previous weeks. They're used to pouring on the points. 3rd and 11 and a timeout called by Wheaton. The play clock was ticking down. And with 5:16 to play, the first timeout, and a little bit longer of a timeout to clear some snow here. Caleb, your thoughts on what we've seen, Wartburg's opening drive, and the response here from Wheaton?
I've really been impressed with the way that Wartburg just stuck to their game plan. 208 rush yards on the ground. They just stuck with that, ran all the way. And on Wheaton's side, I've just been extremely impressed with the poise that they've played with and their ability to shake off those tackles and get those extra yards after contact.
It's a physical game. We've heard a lot of people talking just about the conditions here, and to me, it doesn't seem like it's impacted a lot of the play calling. Still going to the air a lot, not a lot of deep threats down the field, but still a lot of pass plays early on for both offenses.
And that's really important for Wheaton as well, especially Matt Forcucci, averaging just a hair under 250 pass yards a game. You know, that's exactly what he does. He's just a solid passer, and then he can also use his legs. And so for Wheaton to succeed, they're going to need that pass game to continue being strong.
Heard a number of people calling this the game, the whiteout at Wally Hoove, as it is definitely white as more and more snow falling from the sky. Again, expecting upwards of 15 to 18 inches before it's all said and done. Huge play for both teams. 3rd and 11 with the ball on the 29-yard line. Saw some motion. And it's caught! A huge pass into the red zone. The drive is alive, moving it all the way from the 29-yard line down inside the 10, throwing a perfect dart, hauled in for the first down.
And really just an impressive play call. And again, the Knights forcing that offensive line for Wheaton to kind of collapse, but Forcucci just stands in there, fires a dart to Titherington.
1st and 8. Yards tend to be harder to get as the field shortens up here in the red zone. Getting inside the 20 is great, but not scoring touchdowns could be deadly in a game like this. As 2nd down, but first a penalty is called. The call from our officiating crew, offsides by the defense. The penalty is half the distance to the goal. And now a much easier field position for Wheaton as this drive has eaten up a lot of clock here this opening quarter. Ball now placed on the 4-yard line. The Knights defensively trying to keep them out of the end zone. Wheaton hands off, left side, contact leaning, and it's down to about the 2-yard line. We'll bring up 2nd and 2.
And both of these teams so far have stuck to what they're good at. Wartburg on the run, and Wheaton, that balanced attack of both pass and rush has led them into the red zone.
Wartburg's defensive line, the Knights have 66 tackles for a loss heading into this game. Wheaton goes off the right tackle, and that should be enough to get in the end zone. It is! Touchdown, Wheaton. A drive where they converted on several big 3rd down plays. Definitely worthy of being in this spot on the road in the 2nd round of the NCAA D3 playoffs. What a statement drive, and now trying to tie things up here with the extra point. The kicker is Matteo Jesh. The snapper, Whit Jewett. That does not look good, and it isn't. 7-6 is our score, and potentially weather had an impact on that play right there. Well, Caleb, your analysis of that response, that drive. Now, Wartburg received. Now they're going to say it was good on the scoreboard. From our vantage point, couldn't tell. Clearly did not look like your normal extra point that clearly goes high and soars through to split the uprights, but it is now 7-7.
And it looked like, I believe I looked down at the white hat and started making the deflection motion, so potentially tipped, and that's why it didn't look like that. But overall, a great drive by Wheaton, very methodical as they just took their time getting down the field. They worked in some rush, and they broke through so many tackles, and I believe they went a perfect 4 for 4 on 3rd down.
3rd down conversion rates, that percentage, if you're good at that, you're going to win yourself a lot of ball games and score a lot of points by keeping drives alive. Well, for the 2nd time in this game, Wartburg is back to receive a kickoff. Broadcasting from Walston-Hoover Stadium, Eric Braley and Caleb Kammerer, our analyst. Wartburg's offense, a balanced power run approach. Wheaton, known for scoring a lot of points. Receiving it just inside the 10. has a seam, stays on his feet, and then taken down. Great starting field position. A player is injured on the field. Talk about that return, Caleb.
And I believe that was Carson Bruns with the return. And honestly, really what can be attributed to that great return is Aiden Skoda, the other returner, leading the way and blocking and making that hole for Bruns to get through.
Well, as they tend to the injured player, an interesting note in this series is the last time these two teams, these two schools played each other, 1931. So, thinking about how college football has changed, thinking about how these two schools have changed, thinking about how our lives and society has changed over nearly a century, 1931 to 2025. Pretty interesting. That many years has gone by since Wheaton and Wartburg have battled here on the gridiron.
Well, to get both of these two teams, Wheaton has been a powerhouse in Division III for a very long time. And Wartburg, of course, making their 4th straight NCAA appearance and 18th overall. So both of these teams know exactly where they've been, and it's nice to finally see another matchup between two premier schools in Division III.
For Wartburg, trying to extend a perfect season, keeping their conference dominance alive and making a serious push deep into the playoffs. They believe they can win the national title. There is a lot of pressure, though, with that bullseye, that target on your back of being perfect. Nobody's perfect. No team is perfect, but so far this year, Wartburg has looked about as perfect as one can be.
And Wartburg, one of 5 teams in Division III and one of 13 across all divisions to still be undefeated. And in Division III, it's a great list. You've got Christopher Newport, North Central, you've got Bethel, and you've got Mount Union, and of course, Wartburg. That's some great company to be in.
Fans clapping as the injured Wheaton Thunder student athlete rises to his feet. As we are in an injury timeout, 7-7 our score, 3 minutes, 27 seconds remaining here in the first quarter. Well, the opening series tells you a lot, as both from an offensive and defensive perspective, and it doesn't necessarily mean that is a trend that will carry on throughout the entire game, but to me, I expected potentially a low-scoring game because of how strong nationally ranked Wartburg's defense was and because we're playing in a snowstorm. But this might end up being in the 30s, Caleb.
And that's just kind of what happens when Wheaton shows up. They've got that strong offense. They went 3 for 3 on 3rd down conversions, and if Wartburg wants to keep this a low-scoring game, they've got to start limiting those 3rd downs.
1st and 10 for Wartburg, their 2nd offensive series. Again, Leo Dodd, the field general, the senior, at that quarterback position. 2 receivers near side, and now going in motion is Swanstrom. He has the ball and picks up positive yardage. And now the official throws a flag and his hat, as the whistle had sounded. We'll await the call from our officiating crew. They're doing a great job here so far today.
I don't know if I've ever seen an official throw his hat up in the air like that.
Trying to protect these student athletes. We'll await the call and relay it to you. 2 fouls on the play, 1 by each team. Holding by Wartburg. Personal foul after the play is over. Unnecessary roughness. Automatic first down. Costly mistake. Again, we talk about that word perfect. You don't have to play perfect, but you don't want to shoot yourself in the foot by hurting yourself by making mistakes like that.
Well, and sometimes your emotions, they just run high. That's a big stop, on 1st down to force a 2nd and long. And so being able to force that, just got a little ahead of himself and ended up throwing Swanstrom to the turf.
3:13, time ticking down, first quarter, 7-7 ball game. Second round of the D3 NCAA football playoffs. Drop play up the middle, gain of 4. And I've been impressed with Wheaton's defense overall here as they swarm to the football.
And really, Wartburg has that one score, but it's on the back of Rudd's huge carry that flipped the field. And so Wheaton has done a great job of forcing, short gains, and they haven't really had time to force a third down, but once they do, they're in a great position to succeed.
A lot of options for the coaching staff for Wartburg. Play calling with 2nd and 5. A little pitch, and running out is Dawson Rudd. Rudd has some room, and the 5'8", 175-pound junior with his 123rd attempt. That puts him over 700 rushing yards.
And there is a flag on the play, so there is a chance that that run does come back.
Holding against the Knights, it will come back. So it was a 2nd and 5, enough for a first down with the ball in the 46. And now the penalty pushes the Knights back. We did not see any penalty flags in the first half of this first quarter. And now a flurry of them as of late.
And both of these teams do a great job of limiting penalties, so it's very interesting to see those penalties kind of come out. Wartburg, just gives up 40 penalty yards a game, and Wheaton only commits about 4 penalties per game.
Pass, and having to go back to try and pull it in was Dylan Swanstrom, the junior. Had he been able to catch it on the run, he would have had room to turn up field. Instead, now it's a 3rd down and 8. As Wartburg, their offense averaging about 6 yards per play on the season, averaging about 400 yards a game, and time of possession about 32 minutes per game this year.
Wartburg has done a great job on offense. It's those slow, methodical drives, though, similar to what we saw Wheaton commit.
Blitz coming. Pocket closes, stepping up and taken down. Smart decision by Wheaton to send a couple of extra players after Leo Dodd. He didn't stand a chance to have time to find a receiver and throw the ball downfield.
And a great play call by Wheaton. They've really kind of had the edge in play calling, it seems. They've blitzed at the right times, getting that sack right there. But they've also had a very balanced offensive attack, which has led to them wasting a lot of time off of this clock.
The Knights, and it's our first punt of the game. Jackson Hopsis. It's a good one. He has had a tremendous season, pinning opponents inside the 20-15 times, averaging 39.7 yards per punt. The longest, 84 yards versus Simpson. You heard that right. He has an 84-yarder on his resume. That's what you call flipping the field. And special teams, equally as important as offense, defense in the 3 phases of football.
And there's a reason that he earned a first-team All-ARC specialist position alongside Dylan Swanstrom. He's just able to pin, the opponents, and then he's also so reliable with those PATs and field goals.
So a touchdown by Wartburg, followed up by a touchdown by Wheaton, then a forced punt by the Wheaton defense. Now Wartburg, their defense on the field, trying to keep the trend going. And forcing a punt from Wheaton. Ball is loose, scooping it up. lost it momentarily. Who's going to hop on that pigskin? It's going to be the Knights. That is a huge play as Wartburg forces the fumble and gets the touchdown in the end zone. Holy buckets, what a play.
And we'll see who ends up getting that forced fumble, but the snow playing a factor here as that ball almost went out of the end zone, out of the back end, and so Wartburg able to finally land on it and extend their lead 13-7.
We knew the weather would have an impact playing in a blizzard. Weather plus stellar defense equals 6 points for Wartburg, and the momentum back officially on the side of the Knights. Trying to make it a 14-7 game. Not that time, as potentially that's the second blocked PAT we have seen in this football game. Let's see if that looms large later on in this game.
And again, the snow is going to play such a huge factor. We've talked about it so often, but especially for kicking opportunities, it's going to be difficult because the holder may not be able to get it to stay as upright as you normally want to on a PAT or a field goal.
Well, this game, Caleb, has had a little bit of everything, and we're still in the opening quarter. Entertaining playoff football, that's what you expect. Wheaton again, one of the best offenses in the nation. Wartburg's offense, they're pretty stellar as well, but really known for their tremendous defense this year. Wheaton, at one point this year, they were 2-2 heading into their game October 11th at Illinois Wesleyan. They lost their opening game at Mount Union 37-29, then won 50-7 at Augustana, 61-13 versus Carroll, and then got blanked 35-0 at North Central. 2-2 at one point of the season. Turning point of their season, they've won them all since, averaging over 50 points per game since that point.
But then again, you talk about two of those teams, North Central and Mount Union. Those are two teams that are top two in the nation.
Yes.
And so Wheaton has done a great job of playing up to the level of their opponents.
Ball kicked out of bounds with 52 seconds to play. Wheaton and their offense will come onto the field to get started here. Their drive starting at the 35-yard line. Look for potentially getting their tight ends involved. Benjuska, the graduate student, who had 36 receptions for 494 yards. Also the senior Seth Kortoven, who had 55 receptions for 828 yards on the season. Handoff. And no yards there for Matt Kreider, the sophomore running back. And we might have time for one more play here before the first quarter comes to an end.
And in the backfield again, Keenan Tyler, the American Rivers Conference Defensive Player of the Year, and also the player who both forced and recovered that fumble.
And he's one that will go down as one of the best to ever play for Wartburg from a defensive standpoint when you talk about total tackles and just what he means to this team. Wheaton, plenty of time. It's a screen pass, but drifting back, didn't get enough air under it and didn't give Kreider enough of a chance with the incompletion. The clock stops with 4 seconds. And Caleb, it's a 3rd and 9 now with the ball spotted right here at the 36-yard line for Wheaton. Pivotal point. They do not want to give the ball back to Wartburg to start the second quarter.
And again, Wheaton still perfect on 3rd down conversions to this point, and another early test.
Huge play. Pressure comes. Ball in the air. Tipped. And it falls incomplete. And that is how the first quarter comes to an end. It's been an entertaining one from Waverly, Iowa on the Wartburg campus. Wartburg after one. The Knights leading at 13-7. You're watching Division III playoff football here on ESPN. All right, welcome back as we're ready for the second quarter. Wartburg currently with the advantage, 13-7 over Wheaton. And now it is 4th and 9 as Wheaton punt unit on the field. Caleb Kammerer and Eric Braley with the call. Here comes the rush. Good punt. At return opportunity, still spinning and then taken down as Dylan Swanstrom returns it. Pretty good field position for the Knights to start their drive. There is a penalty flag back at the 35-yard line. Now, Wartburg was definitely sending a number of players to try and block that punt, and not sure what the call is as of now. No one talking from the officials to either sideline yet.
Illegal formation on the receiving team, number 81. That penalty is declined. First down, Wartburg.
Illegal formation charged against Wartburg. Wartburg has the football to start this drive. Okay, we talk about momentum and how big that is in all of sports. What does Wartburg need to do here to keep that momentum? And what does Wheaton need to do to try and get that momentum back, even though they're trailing, Caleb?
All right, now Wartburg up 13-7. They just need a score, whether that be a field goal, whether that be a touchdown. And for Wheaton, they need a quick 3 and out, to recover that momentum.
Dodd, play action, beauty. That play action pass set up perfectly, and there's the big tight end, the 6'4", 233-pound senior, Matt Dufault. 18 receptions, nearly 200 yards in the regular season, averaging nearly 10 yards per reception.
And Defoe's just a solid leader for the Knights and does a lot of his work from the run blocking perspective, but also able to get out there and make a reception.
Gonna run it near sideline, stuck and taken down immediately. What an individual outstanding play there by the safety, Colin Moore, the 6', 204-pound junior. Moore has 48 tackles, 4 pass breakups, and interception. Just read that play perfectly, brings up 2nd and 12.
And Moore again, both of these teams have a combined 28 all-conference players
That's a lot.
this year. And Colin Moore, a first-team defensive player in the CCIW. And it's so very impressive to see all of these players stand out and perform in a game and conditions such as these.
Pass complete. Ball is out and then out of bounds. Spinning, try and get more positive yards after the catch. Right in front of his head coach, Chris Winter. And 3rd down and 3 with the ball on the 42-yard line.
And Coach Winter, in his press conference before this game, said 2 things were going to help Wartburg win this game. 1, they run the ball effectively, and 2, they win that turnover margin, both of which they are doing so far in this game.
The Knights trying to pick up the 1st down, but pass deflected. And that'll bring up 4th down. A great defensive tip by the outside linebacker, Luca Torti, the 6'1", 203-pound senior, 72 tackles, 2nd best on the team. Timed his jump and deflection perfectly, or else that would have been a 1st down catch for the Knights.
And this linebacker group for Wheaton is so special. They've got Zeke Harris, Luca Torti, both of those guys made all-conference teams this year as well. And this linebacker group, this defensive line is so, so impressive.
Wartburg trying to pin Wheaton inside their 10-yard line. Fair catch caught by Wheaton. And with 12:49 to play, the Knights give the ball back to the Thunder. 13-7 is the score. Well, let's talk about the coaches in this game, and Wheaton's got a good one, don't they?
Wheaton and both Wartburg, both great coaches, but Wheaton's coach, Jesse Scott, in his 6th season, 46-11 overall.
Well, I'm going to stop you there. The coaching staff very upset, but an illegal formation call against Wartburg. Too many men in the backfield. So instead of having Wheaton starting their drive inside their 10-yard line, Wartburg's going to need to punt this one away again. Jackson Hopsis, again, 15 times this year has pinned his opponent inside the 20-yard line. Hasn't had to do it in snow yet. This one is caught and dropped. Picked up, calm, cool, and now running it out to the near sideline. Might have a flag down. And Coach Chris Winter is livid on the sideline on the previous play call. And now this one.
And Winter has always shown that emotion on the sideline. He always wants the best out of his players, but he's also not afraid to, speak his mind when he thinks that a call hasn't gone his way.
Huge field position difference, about 30 yards, Caleb, due to that penalty. So instead of starting on the 6, they're starting on the 36. Tons of time left here before halftime. Pass caught. And a 1st down for Wheaton. Wide receiver Whit Jewett, 300 yards receiving this season, averaging 12.9 yards per reception. One of the more impressive things on that kick return was how calm, after fumbling, to pick it up and still get positive return on the play.
I believe on that return, Seth Kortenhoven just doing a great job of not letting, as that's almost picked off by Tyler Geyer, but just not letting them, get the momentum that they needed.
Again, the Knights secondary this year, 14 interceptions, ranking 23rd nationally, number 2 in the ARC, forced at least 1 interception in 8 out of their last 10 games, forced 17 turnovers. 2nd and 10. Wheaton had that great opening drive to score 7 points. That's a good run off the right side. Will be right at the first down mark, short by about a yard. 3rd down and 1 as time ticking down as the ball is on the 43-yard line.
And Matt Kreider has been really impressive so far in this game. Not normally the premier guy when you think of who's going to get the ball and who's going to succeed the most, but he's out there and he's absolutely doing his part in this game.
3rd and about 1.5 yards for Wheaton. Man in motion, handoff, left side, leaning forward, and that's enough for a first down. As Matt Kreider, the sophomore, with a good job of power running football and then leaning forward for the first down.
And again, that's another 3rd down conversion for the Knights, or for the Thunder, excuse me.
2nd quarter action. Knights leading 13-7. Wheaton, the Thunder on a drive here. Play clock winding down. Here comes the rush. Forced out of the pocket. Gonna keep it. Gain of a couple. Is Mark Forcucci, one of the better quarterbacks in all of D3 football. Can hurt you with his pass. He can hurt you with his legs and running the football as well.
And Forcucci, top 10 in it looks like 5 different categories for Wheaton. 3rd in passing efficiency, 3rd in yards per attempt, 9th in passing touchdowns, and 9th in passing yards per completion, and 10th in completion percentage. Just an all-around great quarterback.
2nd and 4. The Thunder of Wheaton handing it off. Another downhill run. Matt Kreider will pick up the first down again. And we saw in that opening drive for Wheaton a lot of pass plays, and now they're finding a lot of success running the football, especially with the big number 32, Matt Kreider.
Well, that's really interesting to see that the run is where they're getting that success from, because Wartburg is one of the best rushing defenses in the nation, 4th with only 43.2 yards per game.
An eternity left in this game, as these two teams knew heading in it was going to be a battle to advance to the next round of the playoffs. Refusing to go down. Good, strong run by Riley Howard, the 5'10", 226-pound senior.
You know, Howard filling that fullback position right now and picking up a huge gain. Another first-team all-conference player for the Thunder.
Really plays that tight end position, but says, Coach, hand me the ball in the backfield, and I'll run over some guys. 8:20 remaining, 2nd quarter. 1st and 10. Ball on the 17. Empty backfield. Here's the pass, and it's intercepted for the 2nd consecutive time. A turnover forced by the Wartburg defense, and number 6, Blake Jansen. What a play by Blake Jansen.
And Forcucci had all the time in the world. That Wartburg line just couldn't get through, but that Wartburg secondary really played a huge part. They were blanketing everyone in the end zone, and there were 5 receivers out there.
A lot of options to throw it to with that many receivers out there. We talk and sung the praises of Mark Forcucci, a tremendous quarterback. When he watches that again, he would love to have that throw back. Knights doing what their defense has done all year long, forcing turnovers, and that helps with the momentum, and that helps their offense as well.
That was Jansen's third interception of the year. He has just been solid in that safety position, and Jason Aboy on the other end, another solid player in that secondary for the Knights.
Again, Wartburg averaging about 400 yards per game with that balanced power run approach. Anderson, Rudd combining for 1,394 rushing yards, about 200 per game on the ground. And you know Wheaton has a lot of time to prep, to scout, and had an idea that Wartburg would be trying a lot of running plays toward them in this game. The Thunder, again, in the opening round, 76-14 triumph over Crown last Saturday, used 436 yards of offense, 286 yards passing, 150 yards rushing. And Wartburg undefeated on the year. They're coming off a 63-20 victory against Buena Vista on November 15th. It's been a while since the Knights have played a football game. Late hit is going to be the call, and that's going to be a backbreaker for this Wheaton defense, who's played pretty strong here in this first half.
And it's very clear that tensions are flying high. We saw Coach Winter on the Wartburg sideline. He was very animated, but that's now a second unnecessary roughness call for this Wheaton defense.
Penalties, a bit of a concerning factor here for these teams is, you know, early on in the season, you can kind of accept it, but by now you want to be playing as clean a football as possible. Still waiting for the official call. Fouls by both teams on the play. Holding against Wartburg. Personal foul for the hit out of bounds. So not every penalty, though, is equal. It is an automatic first down. You mentioned just the intensity. Well, the school that loses this game, Caleb, the season's over. So much riding on this. The school that wins advances to the next round, and their championship playoff hopes continue.
Yeah, and the fire is so apparent for both of these teams. Right now, Wartburg just seems to have all of the momentum in the world.
Play action, that can change. On a play like that, if he fumbled it, the ball might have popped out. Now, did he hop on it in time? It looks like he did. When you're a quarterback back there, you're trying to feel the pressure. And now an injured Wartburg student athlete, looks like a lineman, down on the field. But that is a tough play as the quarterback, all eyes vision down the field, trying to sense the pressure. Ball pops out for Wartburg, fortunately able to hop on. If Wheaton gets on that ball first, they're setting up at the 24-yard line with a chance to tie this thing up or go ahead.
And really it all comes down to the strong defensive Wheaton line. They haven't had the success that they normally have this season, but able to just wrap around a Wartburg offensive line that has done a really good job of keeping Dodd safe in that pocket, wrapping around, hitting him from behind where he can't see it.
Just watching these two quarterbacks, their footwork, their time in the pocket, eye discipline, you know, staring down receivers, or they're scanning calmly. They're two of the best in D3. They both seem to be settled in, not rattled. And the pressure of it being a playoff game does not seem to be affecting Leo Dodd of Wartburg or Mark Vercucci of Wheaton. That's such an important position, They're all important on the field, but that quarterback position, huge responsibilities. Pass caught, but a short pickup because of the great defense of Wheaton. Dylan Swanstrom with the catch. 3rd down and 8. 6.5 to play here in the second quarter. Hope you're enjoying our ESPN broadcast. Caleb Kammerer, our analyst. I'm Eric Braley from a snowy and cold Wartburg campus here in Waverly, Iowa. A lot of contact and a very late flag at midfield. It was right in front of the Wartburg bench as the receiver falls down, forced down by Luca Torti, the senior outside linebacker.
And Dylan Swanstrom, the intended target there, just ends up getting pushed down to the ground by Luca Torti. So pass interference will be the call, and Wartburg will get that automatic first down.
Costly mistake. A first down opportunity. Wartburg here. Still a lot of time trying to eat up some clock and end with potentially adding more points to this deficit. Gain of 4 yards off the left tackle. Dawson Rudd, what a season he's had. 698 yards. He'll be back next year for Wartburg.
And Rudd now with 2 first-team all-offense awards in the American Rivers Conference. And so having another player like that back for next year will be extremely crucial. And right now, he's showing his worth.
Not much room there. The Wheaton defensive line. I see Peter Johannick, the D end. Maxton Leathers, the defensive tackle. Owen Downing, the D tackle. And Rex Kroger, the D end. In on that play. A couple linebackers as well swarming to the football. 3rd down and 6.
And one of the things that I've been most impressed with is Wartburg's offensive line. They've held this strong defensive line of Wheaton with all of those guys that you mentioned, and they've very rarely gotten into the backfield, just 1 sack so far in this game.
3rd and 6 for Wartburg's offense, leading 13-7. It's going to be a screen pass. Hauled in, short of the first down. Wheaton saw it coming, read it perfect, and executed as the catch by Dawson Rudd really set up to say, okay, you're going to get the ball, but then you're going to have to pick up 6 yards on your own.
And, you know, for just those 2 or 3 yards that Rudd got there, he broke through maybe 2 or 3 tackles of his own, but just Thunder defenders raining down.
Wheaton will get the ball back here with an opportunity for at least one more drive before our halftime intermission. Wartburg's punter, Jackson Hopsis. He's had a couple of punts so far today. No rush. It's a tough catch. And the ball returned. And setting up will be the Wheaton offense with 3:46 to play. Well, a reminder, Wartburg received first. So no matter what, even if Wheaton does not score and our halftime score is 13-7, Wheaton will receive the ball first to start the second half.
And right now, the goal for Wheaton will be to get a little bit closer, whether it be go ahead, tie this game, or even just get 3 points on the board. That goal will be to get this as close as possible going into halftime.
But a couple of costly turnovers by Wheaton already in this first half. Now under center is for Cucci, the quarterback. Handoff. And stuck. Gain of a couple of yards. And slow to get up. We do have another injured player. So 3:34 to play. Again, this game is the second round of the Division III playoffs. And Wartburg able to get a bye because of their undefeated season. And so, some time off since their last game, that dominant victory against their conference opponent, Buena Vista. As Wheaton took down Crown. Crown finished their season 7-3. Another interesting game on the other side of the bracket. Why don't you tell our viewers about who the winner will play in the third round next Saturday.
So the winner of Wartburg and Wheaton will face the winner of Wisconsin Whitewater 8-2 and DePauw 9-1. And so, both of those teams, top 25 in D3 and the AFCA polls. And so it's very important that Wartburg gets it done and has that time, or it's very important for Wheaton to get it done and have that time to scout out their opponents.
Third round happens December 8th, the quarterfinals December 13th, the semifinals December 20th, and the Stag Bowl Sunday, January 4th, 2026 on ESPN. 2nd and 6. Another handoff. Trying to follow his lead blocker. And 3rd down and 4. As this ball doesn't feel like Wheaton's in any hurry. Maybe thinking, hey, if we don't get this 3rd down, we don't want to give Wartburg much time to try and put a drive together and score points before the end of this first half. 2:44. Eight on the play clock. Here's the pass, it's high and just incomplete. Thought he had it momentarily, but unable to haul it in. Went up for it. So the punt team comes on with 2:30 to play for Wheaton.
And right now on the defensive end, the MVP for this game might be Blake Jansen.
Yeah, it's a great play.
Who just got in there, has that interception in the end zone for the Knights as well, and just a fantastic couple of plays on the last 2 drives for Blake Jansen.
2 minutes and 30 seconds to go here in the second quarter. Back to receive this punt, standing about the 35-yard line. Gets a good roll for Wheaton. The ball dead at the 29-yard line. Well, Wheaton's offense looked really impressive on their opening drive, but sputtering a little bit here due to turnovers and forced 3 and outs. And now Wartburg, they're not putting a ton of points on the board either, though, in this first half.
The offense just 7 points in this game so far, because another 6 of those points came on a defensive touchdown by Keenan Tyler after he forced a fumble.
2 minutes and 20 seconds to go for Wartburg here. Play action, taking his time, and caught the ball! Tipped it up, a flag is out. Now is it defensive or offensive pass interference, the call? Regardless, Jagger Schmidt, the senior, tips it up, hauls it in. It's either defensive or offensive pass interference. The officials talking as we await their call.
And regardless, a great catch for Jagger Schmidt.
Both players jockeying for position. Both players have the right at that football, but a lot of contact. And now with 2:06 to go, Wartburg picking up the pace a little bit here with their offense. And now the officials stop the clock as we're at the 2-minute warning. 2 minutes to go. 13-7. The Wartburg Knights over the Wheaton Thunder. Wartburg on a drive, looking for some more points to widen the gap on the scoreboard here. From Walston Hoover Stadium, it's NCAA playoff football. Well, Caleb, just talk about how much defense matters in football, D3 playoffs, especially, Tyler on Wartburg. We've seen some great defensive plays on both sides of the ball.
And defense is so important, especially winning that turnover battle. And Wartburg right now with 2 forced turnovers, and they limited their 1 potential turnover. But, Wheaton's still right in this because their defense has overall just kept Wartburg in the middle of the field. Wartburg hasn't really been able to drive far across the 30, but they haven't been pushed back very far either. And so Wheaton is doing a fantastic job of just keeping Wartburg kind of in between that 30-yard line and that 50-yard line.
So the 2-minute warning as Wartburg sets up shop on the 39-yard line, 1st and 10. Ball, fake handoff, and great defensive play. And he not got his finger there, his hand right into the passing lane. That would have been a pickup of at least 7 or 8 yards.
And Colin Moore, who broke up that pass, has had a couple of great pass deflections for this Thunder secondary, which really overall has played spectacularly.
Clock stopped with 1:56. 2nd and 10. And movement by Wartburg. And it looks like the Knights are going to go back the other way. False start is the call as they move closer to midfield here.
It's a tough break on what was a promising drive, especially after that catch by Jagger Schmidt.
In the playoffs, teams see unfamiliar opponents. The ability to adapt becomes key, as these two teams have not played in nearly 100 years, these two schools. Great swarm defense again. Tata play to the whistle. And now a timeout called. Stops the clock with 1:48. Wheaton calling the timeout, their 2nd timeout of the half. Again, huge shout out to the volunteers and staff who came out early this morning and cleared snow on the football field, in the bleachers. It takes a village, it takes a community. At about 7 o'clock last night, the first snowflakes started to come down from the sky. When I woke up this morning, there was a solid 7 or 8 inches on the ground, and predicted to get another 8 to 10 more inches before this snowstorm's all said and done. I think I read somewhere there was 8 or 9 inches total last winter, and already going to get almost double that in this first snowstorm. Football's an interesting thing, Caleb. You start, in August, and the heat, the humidity, the hot games early in August, September, and then now you're ending in the playoffs, playing in the snow, playing in potentially sub-zero temps.
And you know what? Every single one of those, the heat, the cold, the snow, the rain, it's all football weather.
Got to be mentally and physically tough to play this great sport. 3rd and 15. Wheaton called the timeout thinking they might get the ball back with an opportunity to do something with it if they can stop Wartburg on this play here. They can't. Caught and wrestled down, and that's enough for a first down. They needed 15, and they got a 16-yard pass completion as Wartburg hustles up to the football.
And Dylan Swanstrom has been making play after play in this game. He had that sideline toe touch catch, and way back in the first quarter. Now a big third down conversion.
Matt Dufault catches this one, stays in bounds, so the clock continues to move. Yes, Swanstrom just 25 catches all year, but he's one of the big playmakers for Wartburg so far in this game. Wheaton needs to get a stop here, trying to keep Wartburg out of the end zone. A hold probably is the call as thrown flag in the backfield. We're under 1 minute to go before halftime. And not too many times is that flag thrown at that point, at that area of the field, and it's not a hold against the offense.
That's unfortunate because Wartburg looking to get some more points on the board. Just under a minute left to go in this first half.
So Wheaton had some costly penalties that hurt their drives, and now Wartburg with the penalty makes it second and long. 2nd and 17, we'll call it, with the ball in the 34. Knights scored on their opening possession, so did the Thunder. Wartburg has forced a couple of turnovers, but still it's anybody's ball game at this juncture. Tons of time, choosing the short pass. And Dawson Rudd, the junior running back, catches it, and Coach Chris Winter with the timeout. Well, Coach Chris Winter, still a relatively young coach, coaching at his alma mater, and he's another award winner. Many times he's won the Coach of the Year, and he wins it again this year, well-deserving, going undefeated and winning the conference title.
That's the 4th straight year that Coach Winter has won the Coach of the Year, and he has really, elevated this strong Wartburg football team since he's shown up. 53-7 is his overall record, which is one of the best with coaches in 50 games played.
Chris Winter's 50th career win came against Loris October 18th. He ranks 3rd among active Division III coaches in winning percentage. No better place to do it than where you went to school, right? Has a passion for this school. We talked earlier in the broadcast about Jesse Scott, 46-11 in 6 years. No doubt he'll be a part of the 50-win coaching club next season. 3rd down and 9. Again, Wheaton 9-2 overall. Wartburg 10-0. 47 seconds. Second quarter. Stepping up in the pocket, plenty of room. Tuck and run. And now stepping out of bounds, stopping the clock at 39 seconds. Got to be smart to play that quarterback position. And a smart play by the senior, Leo Dodd.
And Dodd does a great job of using his legs, especially, to get out of trouble. His average is about 22 rush yards a game. And right there, just fantastic awareness. Checks the scoreboard, sees there's still 40 seconds left on the clock, and just winds his way out of bounds, stops that clock so Coach Winter doesn't have to use another timeout.
1st down and 10 for Wartburg. Wheaton's defense on their heels a little bit here with the ball on the 11-yard line. Ball is fumbled, and instead of picking it up and trying to get some positive yards out, just hopping on it is Dylan Swanstrom. And now Wartburg calls a timeout, and it's their second. So Wartburg Caleb will have one more timeout left this half.
And again, that's some more great awareness from the Wartburg offense. Swanstrom just seeing that ball pop out, just goes down on the ground, keeps them in that field goal position still. And being able to do that and still allow them, to have 34 seconds to work with is really impressive.
Gives our staff and volunteer crew with shovels a chance to keep clearing the end zone of the fresh snow that continues to fall here. Well, at the half, we'll give you some updated statistics of this first half action. The main one, the only one you really care about, is 13-7 is the score. And it's anybody's ball game, and especially a game where turnovers can happen in a blink of an eye under these playing conditions.
But overall, both of these teams have done a really good job of playing through these conditions.
Second and 18. Wartburg has one timeout left. Ball now on the 19-yard line, just barely inside the red zone here. They have an opportunity for a first down if they get to the 2-yard line. More worried about time, though. Ball dropped on the short pass to Swanstrom, incomplete. The lights are on. And now, just kind of doing the math, field goal range was about a 36-yarder probably from this spot. And the place kicker, Jackson Hopsis, he's 8 of 15 on field goals this year, 6 field goals from the 30 to 39-yard mark. Again, Wartburg has not played in the snow this year. 3rd and 18. Nice little counter play. And that'll bring up 4th down and long. And not seeing the field goal unit come out yet. Again, one timeout left. Might wait till it gets down to 4 seconds, call the timeout. Then bring out Jackson Hopsis to try and make it a 16-7 game. And that's exactly what happens. Calling the timeout with 3 seconds are the Knights. Hey, bend but don't break defense. Wheaton, they were on their heels reeling and made some big plays.
And really it all comes down to this defensive line. If that defensive line can break through Wartburg's front five, Johannek, was able to break through and get that quarterback hit.
Yeah.
And that's really what kind of stalled this Wartburg drive to this point.
Interesting, that last play call, Knights weren't really going for the end zone. It seemed like they're just trying to get positive yards to make that field goal attempt a little bit closer, a little bit easier here. Again, Jackson Hoppus, he's the punter, he's the place kicker. 6 field goals on the year from this range. Cleared off a little open spot on the turf, dusting that snow away. Could be the final play of this first half. And now a timeout called by Wheaton. They have it, might as well use it and make Wartburg and Jackson Hoppus think about it a little bit.
Icing the kicker in this point in time is a great choice, but don't really know how much help they need out here in the snow.
Well, that football has to be pretty hard due to the temperature, and when you're kicking it, thinking the wind, it's not necessarily going north to south on the field. It's kind of blowing across from sideline to sideline here. Pretty well protected is the field. Don't think wind will really be an impact on this field goal try. An entertaining first half. Again, we'll have the halftime show and a third and fourth quarter action as the winner advances to the Third round of the NCAA Division III playoffs. Ball spotted on the 16. Definitely long enough, and it's straight enough. The final play of the first half is a good field goal. Plenty of leg, and Wartburg takes a halftime lead to the locker room, 16-7. They will kick off to Wheaton to start the second half. What an entertaining first half of football.
And it's full of those turnovers. And again, the snow has put an extra obstacle for both of these teams outside of each other. But both teams have played well to this point, and we'll come back with all of those stats and interesting facts.
Back with that right after this short break. We hope you're enjoying our broadcast from Wartburg's campus in Waverly, Iowa. This is Division III playoff football here on ESPN. Welcome back to halftime. The team's in the warm locker room as we're still out here at the field. Wartburg with the 16-7 lead, scoring a last-second field goal. Let's take a look at some statistics. First downs are equal, 9-9. Rushing yards, 69 yards on 19 carries for Wheaton, 14 yards for Wartburg, or 14 carries for 79 yards. Passing yards, that's the main difference in this game.
And it's really the difference that you wouldn't expect from these two teams, because Wheaton with just 49 passing yards in the game, and they average about 306 on the season, and Wartburg with 101. And so seeing kind of the roles flip, Wheaton relying on the run while Wartburg is really balancing their attack, is something that's really interesting and part of the reason that Wartburg's up by 9 here at halftime.
Wheaton 5 of 11 through the air with 1 interception. The Knights 10 of 16 with no interceptions. Total offense, 30 plays for Wheaton, 118 yards. 30 plays for Wartburg, 180 yards. 1 fumble for recovered by Wartburg, none recovered by Wheaton. Kickoff returns, 1 for 11 yards for Wheaton, 2 for 42 yards for Wartburg. You have interceptions, that playing a factor. Punts, 2 for 41 yards for Wheaton, 3 for averaging 39.3 yards for the Wartburg Knights. Fumbles, we talked about. Penalties, 4 for 51 yards for Wheaton, 7 for 47 yards for Wartburg. Both teams need to clean that up. In my opinion, that's too many for playoff football this time of year.
Well, and especially since both of these teams have done a great job this season of limiting, penalties and penalty yards. Wartburg does a great job of limiting their own penalty yards, just sitting at just around 40 a game, and Wheaton does a overall good job of just limiting penalties with just 5 a game.
Wheaton, time of possession, they lead that category 15 minutes, 46 seconds. Wartburg 14-14. Third down conversions, Wheaton was so good in that opening drive. They're now 4 of 6. Knights, that's one area where they could improve. They're just 3 of 7.
And a lot of their gains have come on those big second downs, and they get to that third down, and they've really struggled because Wheaton has had that bend but don't break defense that we talked about in that first half.
Red zone scores. Wheaton scores once out of 2 opportunities. Wartburg punches it in 2 for 2. Well, Caleb, why don't you break down some individual statistics as we look at Wheaton?
And looking at Wheaton, Wheaton, getting ahead of myself, want to talk about Wartburg, but we got to talk about Wheaton first. Matt Kreider leads Wheaton with 39 yards on the ground and 1 touchdown, followed by Mark Forcucci with 14 yards on the ground, and then Riley Howard and Whit Jewett with 12 and 9, respectively, as the run game has been a positive for Wheaton so far. On the receiving end, Whit Jewett, the leading receiver, 25 yards. Riley Howard has a pair of catches for 3 yards. And Caleb Titherington has a catch for 1 catch for 21 yards and 4 targets as well. And that's the thing that has been really impressive is Wartburg's secondary has really blanketed Seth Kortenhoven, as he has been the leading receiver for this Thunder team, and right now no catches to this point.
Yeah, and that's a receiver that hasn't shown up a lot this year. Titherington, who has 4 targets already in this game. Punting-wise, Josiah Smith, 2 for 82 yards. And how about some stats for the Wartburg Knights for rushing, passing, and receiving?
Yeah, and rushing, Dawson Rudd has really been the highlight there. 77 yards on the ground with 1 touchdown. Of course, Leo Dodd with 10 yards on 3 attempts. And that's pretty much all of the rushing for Wartburg to this point. And receiving-wise, Dylan Swanstrom has had a great game. 5 catches, 45 yards. While Matt Defoe and Dawson Rudd each have a pair of catches. And Jagger Schmidt, of course, has that 31-yard catch. He bobbled it and tipped it off of the defender.
How about defensively as our tackle leaders for these two teams?
Now for Wheaton, Colin Moore leads in tackles with 7, 5 unassisted, 2 assisted. And for Wartburg, you got Keenan Tyler with 8 total tackles, 6 unassisted, 2 assisted, and of course, his forced fumble and fumble recovery touchdown.
Huge, huge play in this football game. As far as scoring, Wartburg scored first with 12:15 to go on that touchdown by Rudd to make it 7-0. And then Wheaton answered immediately. Kreider punches it in for 2 yards out. Wartburg, that fumble recovery in the end zone with 52 seconds left in the first quarter. A lot of action in the second quarter, but the only points came with no time on the clock. A last-second field goal, the only points of that second quarter.
And both defenses really, hunkered down and were able to limit scores because that's just the thing that both of these teams do so incredibly well.
Well, the teams are in the locker room. There's about 8 or 9 minutes until we will have the start of the second half. Here's the main thing, Caleb. Anybody's ball game. Anybody's, especially when in a blink of an eye the ball could be fumbled in the end zone. You can have a pick six. A punt return could be fumbled. There's so much. And again, Wheaton receives to start the second half.
Yeah, and with Wheaton's offense as good as it has been all year, I have no doubt in my mind that offense is going to pick it up in the second half. For Cucci, he's definitely not done. Only 49 yards, averaging right around 250 per game this season. He's going to be able to get that.
So a lot of action happening on this Saturday, trying to figure out which teams keep their seasons alive and which teams their seasons come to an end. We're going to send it back to a commercial break, a break in our broadcast, and be back with more of our halftime show and the start of the second half. Wartburg currently with the lead, 16-7 over Wheaton, as you're watching second round playoff action here on ESPN. The teams are out of the locker room, and we're just minutes away from the start of the second half. Wartburg leading Wheaton here at intermission 16-7. As this has been a fun one from Waverly, Iowa. Eric Braley, Caleb Kammerer, and our ESPN production. Well, this isn't the only game going on. Caleb, what else is happening in the wild world of D3 football today?
Of course, the overall second round of D3 football today. Of course, here in Waverly, Wartburg and Wheaton. Wartburg leads 16-7. And in terms of who they might play for next week, it's a close one, as well as Wisconsin Whitewater and DePauw are locked in a close battle. DePauw recently just took a 2-point lead as they lead 16-14 over Wisconsin Whitewater. And staying on that side of the bracket, St. John's, Minnesota leads Monmouth from Illinois 21-9. As they're at halftime and just beginning the third quarter. UW River Falls is up over Chapman 34-7. Continuing to move down the bracket. The 11 o'clock games are just finishing up, and possibly the biggest upset of today is Christopher Newport was defeated by Susquehanna 42-28.
It's a big one, not only the result, but the margin of victory as well. That's a statement victory there.
Well, and also that ends Christopher Newport's reign as one of the 13 undefeated teams across all divisions, as they've now taken their first loss. So now just 12 undefeated teams in all divisions of the NCAA. As Susquehanna moves on, they'll face Eastern as they took a close one, 28-24 over Franklin and Marshall. And with 1 minute left in the fourth quarter, Salisbury and Endicott locked in a one-score game. Salisbury up 35-28 as their opponent is already locked in as Johns Hopkins took care of Springfield 34-14, and that's just on Wartburg's side of the bracket.
Any other games of interest maybe from the ARC?
The ARC, a familiar Wartburg opponent. They're playing Bethel right now, one of those undefeated teams in all of NCAA. Bethel up 32-7 at the beginning of the third quarter over Co. And North Central also in a close battle as they've just finished the third quarter as they're only up 10-0 over Hanover. And finally, Mount Union, the other important game of the day in terms of these two teams' conferences, as Mount Union defeated Muhlenberg 49-7 as we are almost ready for this second half.
Thank you for that scoreboard check and update, Caleb. Our analyst for today's broadcast. Huge shout out again to the field crew. When we wrapped up that second quarter with that last second field goal, it was covered in snow, and now a much better playing surface on the brand new turf here for second half action. The snow definitely not letting up in the second half. Wartburg will kick off to Wheaton, and again setting the stage. Wartburg 10-0 heading into this game. Wheaton 9-2 as Wartburg has won 10 straight. Wheaton 7 straight in this season. Knights' last game 63-20, a victory over Buena Vista on November 15th, while Wheaton demolished Crown 76-14 last week in the first round. Knights making their fourth straight and 18th overall playoff appearance. First time the two teams have met in 94 years.
And this game has really lived up to the potential, I believe, that we expected. We both came into this game and we were expecting a big defensive game, and that's exactly what both of these teams have put up so far. But at some point, these offenses are going to wake up.
Well, we thought that, and then both teams took their opening drive down and scored. Then it kind of settled down a little bit. Big return to start the second half, out to about the 33-yard line. And that is where Wheaton's offense will come out to start the second half. Again, Mark Mark Forcucci, the senior quarterback. You have O'Connell in the backfield, along with Kreider. O'Connell's the backup QB. You have Kreider. You have the flex and Jones. Wide receivers are Jewett, Titherington, Juska, the big tight end, as well. Here's a pass, and it's caught. First down across midfield into Knights territory. A beautiful pass and hauled in by Whit Jewett, the senior. Coming out with a bit of urgency here are the Thunder of Wheaton.
And Jewett has been the star in this receiving game so far for the Thunder. And that pass is a great start for Forcucci's second half.
Play action, rolling out. That's a tough throw, and it's another first down. Back-to-back plays for first down passes and catches between that connection of Mark Forcucci and Whit Jewett.
And that time, a contested catches. He seemed to be blanketed well, but Forcucci rolled out to his left and was able to fire that pass right to Jewett's chest.
Can we get 3 for 3 for first downs? Different receiver this time. This is Seth Kortenhoven, the 6', 200-pound senior, 55 receptions, 828 reception yards, 9 touchdowns, 15 yards per reception, and he had 83 yards per game receiving through the air. Well, really making it a point to say we're going to throw the football on Wartburg's defense here to start this opening drive of the second half. Another pass, another catch, another first down. Back-to-back pass completions to Kortenhoven, and now it's the Knights defense that appears to be on their heels, trying to figure out this chess match as Wheaton, just each play they're dialing up has gone for positive yardage here on this opening drive.
And Kortenhoven had a quiet first half, no receptions, and now back-to-back receptions in this opening drive as he's looking like he's going to find his groove.
Another pass, another bobbled, almost caught at the 1 yard line, but then the contact came. The pass was dropped. Ball was placed in a pretty good spot, maybe a little bit behind the receiver. Ball at the 15-yard line, 2nd and 10 for the Thunder.
And Jason Aboy for the Knights, a great pass breakup there as Kortenhoven looked like he might have gotten into the end zone on that play.
All he would have to do is turn and break the plane. This time it is caught. It is a first down, and knocking on the door. Down to about the 2-yard line. It'll be first and goal as an impressive drive for the Thunder, punching the Knights right in the mouth out of that halftime.
And the most important thing to notice on this drive is not a single run.
Not one.
They opened up in that first half. They set the Wartburg up for this. They did a heavy run attack and now a ton of passes.
And now a run that is stopped. Big number 44, Riley Howard, the 5'10", 226-pound senior, has a rushing touchdown.
And Howard, again, that tight end, but filling that fullback position and looking for a second rushing touchdown of the season, but the Knights able to limit him to just a short pickup.
You know who make good fullbacks? Big tight ends. In short, down field position like this. 2nd and goal, ball on the 2. Wheaton has the momentum, looking for points, and they got him. 6 points. What a statement by Wheaton, coming out, receiving the kick, and marching downfield. And we have ourselves, well, we had a ball game before that touchdown, but now we have a 16-13 ball game as we await the extra point attempt.
And Howard just didn't give up, didn't get in on the play before, just battled his way through for his second rushing touchdown of the season.
Have a feeling next time Wheaton has the ball on offense, they'll be heavy on the passing again, and it is good. 16-14 is the score. Wheaton pulls within 2 points, as close as we've been for quite a while here between these two programs. Well, that is exactly what the Wheaton faithful wanted to see out of their Thunder, who again, let me just quickly run down the points that they have put up this year. 29, 50, 61, 65, 47, 28, 65, 61, 52, and in the first round of the playoffs last week, 76. Incredible numbers by this offense.
And that Wheaton offense, they didn't have what they would say was their best first half. They kind of struggled after that opening drive touchdown, but now they had the second half opening touchdown, and now they're ready to play defense. That bend don't break mentality is going to be so important.
Now, if you're Wartburg, the offense gets an opportunity to come out onto the field and put a responding drive together. Interesting to see what the play calling decisions will be, if it will be heavy on the pass or heavy on the rush, or trying to be balanced here in the second half. But we start with the kick. And then the return. And it's a good one. All the way out to the 37-yard line. Big number 87. He's pretty good at returning that football. Not a lot of dancing around.
Yeah, just running it right up the middle, following his blockers, and not really allowing, any doubt that he's going to get the yardage he's decided he's earned.
Knights, they're in the black uniforms, and Wheaton in the white. Wartburg's first opportunity of the offense touching the ball here in the second half. Last time they were able to get a field goal as time expired in the first half, and a gain of 6 on a simple rush play, eating up nice yardage, just an off-tackle play to the right side.
And that's Dawson Rudd there again with the carry.
Rudd on the year, 698 rushing yards. In motion comes Schmidt, the receiver. Handoff again, first down. So opposite the play calling effect of what Wheaton had in their opening drive. As the Knights, they're bread and butter all year long. Balanced power run approach.
And, they've had 2 running backs, this season who have almost 700 yards apiece, and Rudd has really carried the workload today.
Averaging 200 yards rushing per game. Anderson and Rudd, 1,394 yards rushing on the season. In motion, got it. A nice timing handoff. It's not as easy as it looks to make that play. And Dylan Swanstrom, the junior, gets 3.5 yards. 9.5 to play third quarter. Knights with the lead by 2 and the football as they enter into the territory of Wheaton. Looking to air it out, has a receiver and caught, stays in bounds Good job by Wheaton to make sure no yards after the catch. Caught, forced out, and another first down.
And Wartburg's first pass attempt of the second half goes their way as Jagger Schmidt makes another sideline catch.
Always good to know where you're at on the football field. Hauling it in, staying in bounds. Leo Dodd, the quarterback. He'll hand it off right up the gut. Smash mouth football. Gain of about 15. And finally a whistle comes in. The crowd here loves that as Dawson Rudd all fired up after that big pickup.
And here at Wartburg, they had a player, Hunter Clausen, they called him Turbo, and people so often compared Dawson Rudd to Turbo.
I never had that nickname. That's a good one, Turbo. Wheaton, they had the momentum, scoring on their offensive drive of the first offensive drive of the second half, and now their defense needs to find a way to get a stop. Good play there on the end around. A second and long as this third quarter is going by pretty quickly here. Wartburg, 21 conference titles, 18 playoff appearances. The school has reached the national semifinals before, not the championship game though. That's that goal out there on the horizon. There's been several what I would consider golden eras for Wartburg football, and there's no doubt this one, current day, is one as well. Just dominance in the conference as the Knights have won 32 consecutive conference games dating back to 2021. Incredible.
And Wartburg has had so much success, and a lot of that can be contributed to Chris Winter since he showed up 5 seasons ago.
I mean, this senior class never lost a conference game, going 4 undefeated seasons in the league with 4 consecutive championships. Last school in the arc to do that, Central College, 1964 through 1967. 3rd and 6, pass play, and it's tipped. Great defense. No flag called, and now decisions. With the ball in the 20, it'd be about a 37-yarder. In these conditions, you could try and punt and pin them within the Wheaton within the 5-yard line, or you just go for it on 4th and 6 and try and get that first down, keep the drive alive. And worst case scenario likely is Wheaton has the ball on the 20-yard line. And that's what the decision is. 4th and 6. Wheaton's defense is bent but not broken on this drive defensively. Screen. Open room, some blockers. And it's enough for a first down. Touchdown saving tackle there. Just getting the shoestrings. It's Colin Moore, the junior safety, had 48 tackles. None bigger on than that one this season.
Yeah, I was going to absolutely give credit. It looked like Matt Defoe had a wide open running space, but Moore barrels from the other side of the field and makes that tackle.
You know, Wartburg's best defense might be having their offense eat up as much time, as much clock to keep Wheaton's turned down, but not going down to the turf. An impressive run, even though it's a gain of 1.
And I honestly cannot believe that Dawson Rudd stayed on his feet there. It looked like he was met for a tackle for loss, and there he was still on his feet, and even getting 1 yard of gain is super impressive.
To finish my thought, though, I mean, if Wheaton's offense is not on the field, Wheaton's offense is unable to score. So long sustained drives that eat up the clock by Wartburg, a pretty good strategy. Flag in the backfield, a touchdown. Not sure if this call will stand. It might come back for a holding, a temporary celebration as it was a touchdown, with likelihood of this one coming back against Wartburg.
And that's a drive killer, exactly what we talked about. Both teams really needed to clean up the penalties in this one, and Wartburg likely getting another one.
Pretty lengthy meeting with these officials. Might be two flags on the play. It's hard to tell as those yellow flags are covered in snow. Fouls by both teams on the play. Holding against Wartburg. Personal foul. Illegal blindside block of the defense. Offsetting penalties, and they're going to replay it, taking the points off the board from that touchdown.
Yeah, but, you know, that's still okay. There's no movement backwards, and they still have 2 more downs to try and push through a touchdown or at the very least get that field goal.
So Wheaton backs to the wall with the ball placed on the 10-yard line. A beautiful day for football here in Waverly, Iowa, as Wheaton traveled on Thursday, Thanksgiving, spent the night in Iowa, practiced yesterday at the University of Northern Iowa in Cedar Falls in the beautiful Unidome to get ready for this game. And now game day here with the winner advancing to the 3rd round of the D3 playoffs next Saturday. Location to be determined depending on who wins. Rolling out. Has some room. Surging to the end zone. Did he break the plane? They say no. And another penalty on the play. Clock will stop with 4:19, and a hold is called. And that's the tough thing on those screen passes. When you have those linemen downfield, those receivers downfield, the officials see it, they blow the whistle, they throw the flag, and the drive that was just humming right along, that's 2 plays where it looks like the ball gets to the end zone for Wartburg, but pulled back due to a penalty. 2nd and goal, but the ball is where? It's right on the 20.
But still 2nd down, still plenty of, you know, yardage and downs to work with.
Great pass breakup. Timing it perfectly. There were a trio of Thunder defenders there. Would have been a tough little gap to thread the needle through. The ball is on the 15-yard line. The scoreboard said 20. I think it's on the 15 right now. So hard to see with snow covering the field. So 3rd and goal, ball in the 15. Knights needing to get in the end zone. And now another stop by that Wheaton defense. And decisions of, do you go for 3? And that is the decision. The field goal unit comes out on the field to try and make it a 5-point advantage at 19-14. What an impressive job by Wheaton here in the last couple minutes defensively.
Yeah, Wartburg drove right down, and it looked like they were going to put up a touchdown of their own to answer Wheaton's touchdown, but that bend but don't break mentality for Wheaton has really stood true, and even if they're not getting the crazy video game-like numbers that they've gotten this season, the defense is standing strong.
Blocked! The kick is blocked. And Wheaton will recover it. And the momentum, if there was any doubt, is officially on the side of the visitors from Wheaton. The Thunder with thunderous plays offensively, scoring on the opening drive of the second half, forcing a long field goal attempt, and then stuffing it with the block. Special teams, one of the three phases in the game of football. What a play.
And this Wheaton unit is one of the best in the country, as that's their 6th blocked kick of the season and their first that wasn't a punt.
Wow. Great job with bringing up that stat. Caleb Kammerer and Eric Braley here on the call. D3 football playoffs. Good pass and catch is Kortenhoven, the senior, as he catches the pass from his senior quarterback for Cucci. Exactly picking up where the offense left off for Wheaton. Rarely did a running play, as they relied heavily on the pass in the opening drive of the second half. First play from scrimmage on this series, a pass and a first down. Quarterback keeper, no gain.
Looks like Wartburg read that one like a book, just able to find Forcucci, who kept that one and able to get that to a gain of just 1.
Trip receivers to the top of your screen. No receivers on the near sideline. Now one goes in motion. And they'll throw back to the far sideline. Some lead blockers. And wrestled down after another first down. Wheaton, the offense is clicking. With about 2 minutes to go here in the third quarter, a touchdown or a field goal would put them on front as they cross into Wartburg territory here. And really, you take away that fumble, and Wheaton statistically, offensively, right there with the Knights.
And Wheaton overall just has done a fantastic job of recovering.
So good at escaping the pressure, feeling the pocket collapse. Cucci, again, it's 2 rushing touchdowns, 248 yards per game throwing, but he's one of those dual threat quarterbacks. (16-14). Wheaton calmly taking their time with a 2nd and 3. Play clock at 4. Bouncing it to the outside. No gain on the play. It'll bring up 3rd down and 3 with the ball on the 42-yard line in what could be the final play of the third quarter.
And this is where Wartburg needs to settle down. Right now, the momentum all in Wheaton's favor, but if Wartburg can settle down, get this 3rd down stop, that'll be all that they need for this game.
No doubt about it, Wheaton has won this third quarter, keeping the Knights off the scoreboard, getting a touchdown. And they'll call a timeout with 8 seconds to go. Interesting decision to use one of the 3 timeouts at this stage of the game. A 3rd down and 3. you circle, every play's big, every play's important. But when you go back and review a game, you can kind of circle moments that are either turning points or really plays that carry more weight. And this one certainly feels like one of those opportunities for Wheaton to try and keep this game alive.
If Wheaton, this is the most important third down to this point for the Thunder, and picking this one up and then being able to continue to run down the clock in the fourth quarter is going to be what's going to help them to potentially take a victory.
Wartburg, one of the better defenses in D3. Really one of the reasons why they had another undefeated season in the conference. Huge play for both these schools at this juncture of the ball game. Likely the last play of the third quarter. Empty backfield, expecting a pass. Snow falling, flag thrown, pass complete, holding on to it, but hold on. What is that flag for? Illegal formation as this one is going back. What a tough break for Wheaton. They get the first down, and now they're going to have to do it again as we enter the fourth quarter. What an entertaining game. Wheaton wins the third quarter. 16-14 is our score. Wartburg still with the lead, back with the fourth and final quarter right after this. From Walston Hoover Stadium, this is playoff football here on ESPN. Welcome back. The snow is still falling from the sky as we are almost done with the month of November. Thanksgiving is behind us, and you have it tuned into the second round of D3 NCAA football playoffs. Wartburg very familiar with this situation as they have been in the playoffs time and time again. The winner advances to face either DePauw or Wisconsin Whitewater in the third round, December 6th, next weekend. 3rd and 8. Wheaton picked up the first down, but a penalty makes it now 3rd and 8. The ball fumbled momentarily, picked it up, calm, cool, collected, first down pass. What a play by Mark Fukuchi. Thought he was going to fumble and drop the ball as it was snapped to him. Instead, takes a deep breath, delivers a strike, and another first down. The drive continues for the Wheaton offense.
It's now Jewett with Jewett's 7th reception, as prior to that one he had 79 yards, as Wheaton continues to drive on this Wartburg defense.
The Wartburg defense that this year allowed just 260 yards per game. The run defense, number 4 in Division III. Well, not running is Wheaton. They're passing that football. And Cortenhoven with another reception as the senior hauls it in. A big pickup for the first down.
And Kortenhoven has just had a fantastic second half so far, making his 4th catch as Wheaton just continues to drive, as the pass game has been so strong as they've almost all but abandoned the run game except for the scores.
There is the handoff. And positive yardage, gain of about 6. 2nd down and 4 with the ball on the 9-yard line. Well, analyze this situation right here for Wheaton. You'd think even if they get a field goal in this situation, they have the lead.
They have the lead, and that's exactly, you know, we kind of saw this low-scoring game, this low-scoring affair coming, but Wheaton's obviously going to be looking for that touchdown to this point, as they are in a prime position, as they can still pick up a first down before a touchdown.
Empty backfield, 2nd and 4 to the end zone! Almost intercepted as the Knights, Matt Kreider, had his hands on the football. I like the aggressive play calling that Wheaton is doing, but again, that pass, there were a couple of Knights in the area of where that football was thrown, and now big time play yet again on this drive, 3rd down and 4 with the ball on the 9-yard line. Gonna hand it off. And it takes a while before he's wrestled down. Where are they gonna spot him? Getting 5 yards, only needed 4, a first down, and it'll be 1st and goal with the ball on the 4-yard line. I don't know if Wartburg was expecting that play call.
And that just shows the incredible play call by Jesse Scott on the Wheaton sideline. You know, they've passed a ton in the second half and catching Wartburg off guard with a 5-yard run.
They're going to pack it in tight. No receivers out far. Now rolling out. Going to keep or throw. Hurdling one defender and going out of bounds. Trying to extend the play. So much time left in this football game, but if you're just tuning in, Wartburg has led. However, this second half has been controlled by Wheaton, keeping Wartburg's offense off the field for the majority of this second half, and no points from the Knights. 2nd and goal. Ball on the 5, 2 receivers top of your screen, 2 on the bottom. Empty backfield again. Ball tipped up, and it goes down out of bounds. And for what feels like the umpteenth time, a 3rd down opportunity for this Wheaton offense. Knocking on the door with the ball on the 5-yard line.
And Wheaton on 3rd down, 7 of 9, as they have done a fantastic job converting. We'll see if this Wartburg defense can send them to 4th down.
What play do you dial up here? 3rd and goal. Selfishly wanting a touchdown is Wheaton. Field goals are nice. Touchdowns could be the difference between extending your season, and marked short of the goal line. It'll be 4th and goal on about the 1-yard line. You can't see the 1-yard hash mark as it's covered in snow. 4th and goal at the 1. The place kicker's gonna stay on the sideline. Buckle up, folks. Huge play in this game. The Knights so good at stopping the run all season long. And the time went timeout was called right before the play clock. It was down to about 3 seconds. And quick, smart decision. Again, we got two of the best coaches in the country here, as Chris Winter of Wartburg and Jesse Scott calls the timeout. You feel like you got to go for a run here.
That's normally what you'd think you'd dial up, but with the way Scott has been play calling, I would not be surprised if we saw a pass or some play action on that 1 yard line, maybe even a quarterback keeper.
Wheaton has converted on 55% of its third downs on offense, number 6 in the nation. Well, how about fourth down conversions here?
I've got it somewhere.
They are just understanding the moment. Bercucci has thrown for 31 touchdowns on the year. Is he going to throw for another one here? Try and attempt to hand it off. Ball at the 1. Touchdown! Touchdown for the Thunder, silencing the crowd here at Walston Hoover Stadium. What a drive. Numerous third down conversions, and it ends with an exclamation point of a fourth down conversion as the Thunder lead 20-16 as we await the extra point attempt.
And now Wartburg is going to have to dig deep. They've still got plenty of time, but this Wheaton Thunder team has really clicked on all cylinders in this second half.
Extra point is good, and we have a 5-point ball game, 21-16. And if you're the coaching staff of Wartburg, what do you got to do to try and get a sense of urgency and get that momentum back? Because right now there is no doubt the second half has been controlled by the visitors from Wheaton.
And the biggest thing is they've got to get a long, sustained drive. They've got to pick up those third downs, because that's really where Wartburg has struggled. Offensively, both of these teams have looked very similar, but Wartburg has not been able to convert on those third downs, and that's what's really held them back offensively in this game.
Again, getting inside the red zone is great, but touchdowns, that's the key. We saw Wartburg unable to get any points on their big opportunity, their last drive, with a blocked field goal. Great execution under pressure. This has been a physical ball game, especially that last series near the goal line. And you just feel like with 10:25 to go, Wheaton trying to continue to force their will upon the Knights. And Wartburg needing to step up, protect their home field, and play like they have on this undefeated season all year long. The Knights will start with it at about the 23-yard line. A long ways to go, and a lot of time left on the clock here. Well, again, we hope you're enjoying this broadcast here on ESPN Plus as we bring you the second round playoffs. Again, Wheaton's offense sure looked dangerous in round one, just wasn't sure if they could replicate that performance against the top-tier defense on the road in these conditions. And Wartburg trying to extend the perfect season, keep their conference dominance alive. They feel like they play in one of the best conferences in D3. They're battle-tested. Bouncing it to the outside. Still on his feet. Across midfield. Gobbling up those yards. And that's a big pickup for the Knights.
And that's exactly the kind of play that's going to energize not only the crowd here in Walston Hoover, but it's also going to energize this Knights offense.
Under 10 minutes to go here in the fourth frame. Leo Dodd, the senior quarterback for Wartburg, in shotgun formation. In motion is Schmidt, the receiver. He'll set up near side. Plenty of time. Now, flushed out of the pocket, throws it. No receiver there, but he throws it outside of the pocket, and it'll be 2nd and 10.
The quarterback was outside of the tackle box and the ball crossed the line of scrimmage. 2nd down.
The official said no intentional grounding as the quarterback was outside of the pocket, and the ball did cross the line of scrimmage. So set up on the 49-yard line. Inside, just barely inside Wheaton territory are the Knights. Another strong run. Not as big of a pickup, but it's still a positive gain, this time 9 yards, and it's 3rd and 1.
Those sustained runs, you know, those 9-yard pickups are going to be crucial right now, and this is a big 3rd and 1 for Wartburg.
That initial contact came, and then it was another 5 or 6 yards before finally wrestled down to the turf. Under 9 minutes to play. Wheaton leading by 5. 3rd down and 1 to go for the Knights. And Wheaton says, nope, not on that play. Snuffed it out. Dawson Rudd nowhere to go. And the surge by the defensive line as Maxton Leathers, Owen Downing, Peter Johannick, Luca Torti, Zeke Harris, and Caleb Coban forcing the stop. Decisions. And with 4th and 2, the Knights are going to line up and put their best onto Wheaton's best to try and get 2 yards here. 4th and 2. Pass play, caught it! Full extension of the arms to haul in that pass. 4th and 2. Hey, that's 2nd time we've seen in this quarter. You know, Wheaton gets a 4th and goal conversion, and now Wartburg gets a 4th down conversion. These teams really rising to the occasion with the game on the line.
And when Wartburg has been in a 4th down scenario, they've gone to Matt Defoe both times this game, as they're going to rely on that senior tight end with those sure hands.
Here's a handoff on the end around. Again, positive yardage is Dylan Swanstrom running. Very strong. Not the biggest slot receiver, 5'11", 160-pounder. He has 25 receptions for 335 yards. And 33 yards per game. 3 rushing touchdowns as well. 6:47 and time ticking down. 2nd and 4. Right up the middle. Move the chains. The Knights slicing and dicing their way on a 2nd and 4. Ball now placed at the 16-yard line. And the momentum shifting in favor of the home team, Wartburg, as they enter the red zone. And we're officially under 6 minutes to play here in regulation. What an intense back and forth battle here. More positive yards on the ground attack. Wartburg again averaging 200 yards rushing per game and 1,394 total yards rushing between the two running backs of Anderson and Rudd. On the season, the Knights average about 6 yards per play. Ball is on the 10-yard line. 4 yards away from another first down, 10 yards away from pay dirt. Touchdown Knights, touchdown Wartburg. With 5:01 to play in the fourth quarter, right up the middle, 22-21. A long sustained drive that ends with 6 was exactly what Wartburg needed, and that's exactly what these student athletes delivered.
And Dawson Rudd, as if Wartburg comes out in this one, has absolutely been the MVP of this game. He's had 2 big runs that have set up both of their touchdowns in addition to running them in himself.
An injured player down on the field. 5:01 to play as we await the extra point attempt. Again, snow continues to fall. Wind not really a big factor. 2 elements weather-wise. It's cold and it's snowy. As, you know, just a blizzard, feels like 15 degrees. Expecting to get 12 to 15 inches of snow here. We've mentioned it before, need to mention it again. A number, dozens of volunteers helping clear the stadium prior to kickoff so that this game could be played on a safe field and fans could safely come, no matter who you're cheering for, or if you just want to see some good, entertaining D3 college football. I appreciate all those volunteers. All right, the injured player's off the field. 5:01 to play. An extra point. And kicking has been a bit of an adventure here. So it looks like they're going to say that 1 point might not do us much good. A 2-point conversion, you go up 3, where if Wheaton does get a field goal, then it's a tied ball game. They got it. Rolling out near side. Well executed. Wheaton defense just unable to track down the receivers. Pretty easy pass and catch. And the Knights, they were down for just a little bit and now back on top, 24-21, 5:01 to go.
And that's a fantastic answer. Wheaton has dominated in this second half, but Wartburg was able to take a long, sustained drive, took almost 5 minutes off of the clock, and then they were able to score on their own and then go up 3 so that Wheaton doesn't just need a field goal to take the lead, they need it to tie, and they need a touchdown to take the lead.
2 things, Wartburg celebrating and feeling good. They should, they deserve it, but don't celebrate too much, or as Wheaton has the potential to get a touchdown here with 5:01 to go and a couple of timeouts. And they have looked good this entire second half on the offensive end of the football.
That's exactly what I was going to say. This second half, the Wheaton offense, they've limited those turnovers. And here they are looking to take the lead again.
The losing team, their season is over. The winning team advances to the 3rd round of the playoffs. Wrapped up and taken down as Wheaton will start. Number 13, Ryan Doyle, the junior, making a nice play on special teams. The Knights asking their home crowd for a little support one of the benefits if Wartburg does win this. They will host again next week. A little bit different playing on your home field. Wheaton sets up shop on the 23, and then now ball's bobbled around. It's going to be an incomplete pass. I don't know. Felt like he had it long enough to be called a catch, but they're going to say incomplete. Still a perfect pass from Mark Forcucci, the quarterback.
And you know, there's always going to be that question later, regardless of how this one ends. Was that one a catch? Was it not? But really, did he make that second movement, you know, to try and gain that extra yardage? In my opinion, it didn't really look like he was able to make that forward progress.
The winner takes on Wisconsin Whitewater, who's 8-2, or DePauw, who's 9-1 next Saturday. Trying their luck at running, and not much room there. So that'll bring up 3rd down and 6. And very interesting, where at some point, when are you in 4-down territory? So if you keep it on the ground and get 4, let's say, and it's 4th and 2, do you go just because time is slipping away? We'll analyze that after this play. Won't. Stuffed. About 2 yards short, so it will be similar to my situation, about 4th and 1.5 yards to go. And a long one, we'll say.
And Wheaton has done a great job of converting on 3rd down. We'll see if they can continue to succeed when it's 4th down, but that was a great, you know, 1st down saving tackle by Jason Aboy and Mac Watts.
I'm not going to say this is the ball game, but if Wartburg can get a stop here, where are they going to mark it? It looks like he has enough, and they do. Wheaton, yet again, on 4th down, surging forward, moves the chains, and a fresh set of downs for the Wheaton Thunder.
And when Wheaton is needed to convert on 4th, they put it on the ground for Matt Kreider, and he's succeeded at every step.
Kreider, over 700 yards running the football. This time the air attack, and it's caught. No, he's dropped it. Had it momentarily. Contact came, dropped. Would have been a pickup of about 23 yards, and instead it's an incomplete pass, which will stop the clock at 2 minutes and 50 seconds and bring up a 2nd and 10 with the ball on the 34-yard line. Wow, buckle up, folks. What an entertaining finish. Anybody's ball game at 24-21 in the final minutes here from Waverly, Iowa on the Wartburg campus. Pass complete, 1st down. And another nice play is this pass to Whit Jewett, the senior. The 6-foot, 187-pound senior hauls it in from his senior teammate, Mark Forcucci. 2.5 to go. Needed that one if you're Wheaton. Right at midfield with the ball in the 48. 2 things if you're Wheaton. One is the distance, having to go 51 yards, and the second is the time. 2 timeouts left, 2:10 to play. Incomplete pass stops the clock, and remember, we do have the 2-minute warning as well. Caleb Kammerer, our analyst. I'm Eric Braley on a beautiful day for football. As a kid, I loved playing football in the snow. This is memories for these student athletes, these fans. Clearly, better memories for the team that wins. Playoff football in the snow. Win or go home. In motion, Titherington. Straight ahead, stood up, and that'll be 3rd down and 3 after this 2-minute warning. 2 minutes to play. Across midfield are the Wheaton Thunder, and they'll face a 3rd down and 3 with the ball on the 44-yard line. What do you think, Caleb?
Well, these are the moments that are going to define careers. They're going to define how the rest of the playoffs are going to go. And right now, Wheaton is in a great position to, knock off one of the top teams in Division III.
Wartburg has played so well on their home field, whether it's covered in snow or it's a beautiful September, October sunny day. But Wheaton has given them all they can handle and then some. This game has had a little bit of everything. Some early turnovers forced by that Wartburg defense definitely play in the equation. And with 1:59 to go, Wartburg really known for their offense, known for their defense, but their defense has been so strong this year, allowing just 260 yards per game. Wartburg's run defense number 4 in Division III, and their defensive line 66 tackles for a loss. Forcing 17 turnovers are the Knights' defense this year. 2 timeouts left for Wheaton. A field goal would tie this thing up. Extending the play, making the catch, and with it, that's Luke Crawford. He's an underclassman, the 6'2", 188-pound sophomore, had 6 catches all season long for 130 yards. Kept working, found an opening, and hauls that in. 1st and 10 now, ball in the 31. $1:36 to play here in the 4th quarter. Wheaton marching downfield against this Knights defense. Pass play again. Here's the pressure, and almost picked off. The ball broken up in the backfield there. Hung up in the air for quite a while. Jack Drehos was in there defensively. Clock stopped at 1:16. 2nd and 10 for Wheaton.
And that's the biggest pressure that Wartburg has been able to get all game, as that offensive line of Wheaton has just been so strong. Jake Walker, Connor McDonald, Jack Drehos just have not been able to get through.
Second and 10. Ball in the 31. Pass play again as the Thunder look downfield and caught. What a play off the fingertips and secured Caleb Titherington. The 5'10" senior goes up and hauls it in. Now at the 13-yard line. Open and caught again. We're under 1 minute to play. Time is ticking down. It's going to be 2nd and 2, under 1 minute to go. The Knights backed up to their own end zone, making a stop there, and it'll be 3rd and short, 3rd and 1, and time continues to go before a timeout is called, stopping it at 29 seconds. Did I hear final timeout of the half?
That's Wheaton's final
Wow.
timeout of the half. And with 29 seconds, I have no idea where this is going to go. They've got 3rd and 1. Are they going to try and score? Are they going to try, pick up the first down and then hustle out that field goal unit, try and send this to overtime? There's so many scenarios right now where, you don't know what Wheaton's going to do, but if they do end up scoring, Wartburg might be in trouble.
Well, it's an interesting thing. Kicking has been an adventure today, as you'd expect, as this game is being played in a blizzard. The first extra point for Wheaton was blocked, got a hand on it, deflected, but it did go through the uprights. Wartburg has had a field goal blocked, so it's just not an easy routine thing to say, here's a 20-yard field goal. 29 seconds. How about the senior play of Mark Vercucci, the senior quarterback, the field general, leading his team down the field. Wartburg leads by the slimmest of margins. 3rd and 1. Can he bounce it to the outside? Yes! And in the touchdown! Wheaton with a huge play, scoring a touchdown and now leading 27-24. An extra point would make it 28-24, and Wartburg would have to come up with a miracle to come back and get a touchdown in the final 24 seconds. Big play call and execution by Wheaton on that execution play. And now lining up is Mateo Jesh, the place kicker. It is good. So it is going to be a situation where Wartburg will need to get more than a field goal. They'll need to score a touchdown. The Knights have the threats to get the ball downfield in a hurry, but 24 seconds is not a lot of time.
And Wheaton did a fantastic job. They made the right play, but also just to run that time down, not let it allow them, not to let it get into their heads and to work ahead and just slowly chop away at that clock, get that rollout touchdown, take the lead.
Wheaton on that drive had a 4th down way back, in their territory, just continually 3rd down conversions, 4th down conversions, and now all the pressure in the world on the Wartburg Knights to get a touchdown in the remaining 24 seconds. A tall task, but again, Wartburg undefeated on the year. They have the weapons, they have the playmakers. It's up to Wartburg. Sometimes they say in this game, the team that touches the football last has the advantage as the team who can win the game. Just not much time remaining in this one. A good return would help Wartburg's chances. Up the middle, and Wartburg will have it with 20 seconds to play in regulation. Well, you would think Wheaton would go in some type of prevent defense. You have the sidelines, you have timeouts. Probably not going to be running the football. Trip receivers, top of the screen, one to the bottom. One lone back for the Knights. Only 4 on the line and only rushing 3. Short pass and it's dropped. 4 seconds come off the clock. It'll be 2nd and 10 with the ball in the 36.
And it's going to be so difficult when Wheaton runs that prevent defense to even find a guy that's downfield. you're going to need a huge pickup if you're Wartburg. And right now, those short passes, like that one attempted to Cade Hughes, is just not going to do it.
Again, the Wheaton rushed just 3 on that last play, only rushing 3 again. That ball is caught, and you either run to the ball, but a timeout is called. 9 seconds to go, and really, even for an opportunity for a Hail Mary, you have to get to at least this portion of the field. You can throw it 50 yards through the air. Tip, I've been around sports, watched it enough, played it enough to know crazy, wild finishes happen all the time. It's the best reality show in the world. Nobody knows how this game's going to wind down. And Wartburg, though, needs some luck and good fortune on their side if they're going to extend this winning streak and extend their playoff hopes here in 2025. And if you're on Wheaton, you got to be disciplined. Probably time for 2 plays potentially here, depending on how long it takes Wartburg on this very next play. What a battle. Wheaton again coming off that 76-14 triumph over Crown last Saturday in the first round. Wartburg earned the bye. The winner advances to the 3rd round to take on Wisconsin Whitewater or DePauw next week. If Wartburg wins, the game is played here. 10 seconds left. Incomplete pass, and likely 1 play left in this football game. If that is caught and a timeout is called, then Wartburg in a much better position to throw toward the end zone with the ball on about the 35-yard line.
Wartburg just in a tough position because Wheaton ran off so much of the clock on their last drive. They're just in a difficult position right now.
7 seconds left. Ball on the 49-yard line. Caught. Got to go down. 2 seconds left. A timeout is called. Officially, 1 second is on the clock. So it comes down to this. No timeouts left. 1 second left. And the ball on the 29-yard line. Hey, the playbook looks a lot more wide open if you're on the 29-yard line as opposed to the 49-yard line.
And we'll just have to see. There's still so much yardage to go. It's still going to be a deep pass. And with the snow, I mean, so many things can happen. You could slip and fall, but also the defenders could also, take a tumble. And so this game, even with 1 second left and 4 points, is still so wide open.
Every play's so big. That's why we, getting that 2-point conversion earlier, the missed blocked field goal. There's just so many things when these two teams go back and review the game film. What should have, what could have been the difference between a win or a loss. But it comes down to this. 1 play, 1 second. These two teams have not played in nearly 1 century. What an exciting one we have here in a snowstorm here in 2025. From the 29-yard line, the throw to the end zone, tipped up and batted out of bounds. Wheaton wins it. Wheaton with the upset, 28-24, coming in and knocking off the Knights. Wartburg, their only loss of the year, coming today in a spirited effort as Wheaton wins it 28-24. Offensively, defensively, special teams, Wheaton wins the football game as they advance to the third round of the playoffs to take on either Wisconsin Whitewater or DePauw next Saturday. Wartburg ends their season 10-1 overall. A number of individual all-conference honors, a tremendous fourth consecutive year of winning the conference, and that's something that just doesn't happen very often. This senior class for Wartburg never lost a conference game, and 4 consecutive ARC championships. The last time that happened, Central College, 1964 to 1967. But today, Wheaton wins it and lives to see another day. Final thoughts, Caleb.
Just an absolutely fantastic second half from Wheaton. They dominated in that second half. The Wartburg defense had no answers because Wheaton started out, in that first half with a ton of run plays. And then in the second half, they went to the pass, and Wartburg was just not able to answer. And they just continued those long, sustained drives, and at the end of the day, took the lead with just 24 seconds left. Wartburg was going to have a hard time regardless.
Well, for our analyst Caleb Kammerer, I'm Eric Braley saying so long, as Walston Hoover Stadium was covered in a blanket of snow, and it witnessed an entertaining Division III playoff football game. Congratulations to the Wartburg Knights on a 10-1 season, and congratulations to Wheaton to extending their season as they advance to the third round of the playoffs. Thank you for tuning in to our broadcast. Have a safe and enjoyable rest of your Saturday weekend. This has been a production of ESPN.